colorblind.
We should just gaslight people into thinking they're colorblind.
And dude, I was like looser than a gooser. It was insane.
Or
Short people just aren't getting it, man.
It might be a hormonal thing. Like,
Catch up.
Catch up.
They don't have time to be depressed back then.
Exactly.
Like,
Dude, he was a fucking influential motherfucker.
didn't he
scary
commit like
shit.
mass genocide?
If
I
was a
wake up,
medieval
I'd
peasant.
sow my field.
Yeah, that was
All right.
Living every day to the fullest.
Have my stale bread. Wake up the next day, do it all again.
No, you know what I was thinking about? Because a lot of people will talk about it. I mean, we might as well. It's like, I don't know if we have yet or not, but COVID and like the mentality behind it mostly. Like whether it was like a good thing or a bad thing. I think a lot of people see it as like a terrible thing, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, I think it's one of like the best things that could have happened.
Why?
I mean, and I think that's like a hot take, but obviously like the deaths were not good. Right. But what came out of it, I mean, quarantine fucking sucked. I mean, I think everybody can agree. My quarantine actually wasn't that bad, but I was surrounded by people. So I would say I was very lucky. I didn't stop working. Nothing really changed for me other than not being able to like really go to stores or go out. Although I just like filled those in with other activities. I don't think as like a lot of people were as lucky. But I think it helped us become like closer because there was like a common enemy, and that common enemy was non-tangible maybe. So there was like, I think that's like when like the world is at its best, and it wasn't just like in the US, you know, because like 9/11 really brought like Americans together. I think this brought like the world together where everybody has something that's like similar to their lives, where before COVID I can't really name much of anything that would have brought us together like a pandemic would. I think that's one thing that was very
one
major.
thing. Yeah, we talked about on the last podcast. Other things, especially the country, was like 9/11, bringing the country together.
Yeah.
But yeah, worldwide too. And I'm sure there's spots in the world that didn't like come together, right? I feel like it.
Yeah, I think like in segregated parts of the world where like people were still like living in tribes, which is very, very minute. I doubt they had any impact unless they like still let like tourists in and view like what was going on in their tribes, which I know they do because that's the only reason we know about them.
What do you think we gained from it then?
I think we gained like a sense of unity with other countries, especially that like we didn't have before because now we have something in common. Like that's like the main thing.
Really?
I do.
I feel like COVID was really divisive for the U.S. Just with like masks versus no masks and the regulations that people constantly fought over.
I think that was the government pushing on division. I think like this whole thing about like different division, I think that's what they're doing with gender now, to be completely honest, where they're making like, where all these people are like making all these genders and like saying like, I feel like this gender or whatever. Like, do I think like there's multiple genders? I think there's two. Like, I don't want to get into that, but like, I think the 297 genders or whatever it is today, I think that's like another governmental push to make like a divide happen. Just like race was a divide. I think as like the race gap, I would say, between whites and blacks becomes narrower because whites and blacks there isn't like as much segregation. I think as that like happens, we're going to see more segregation elsewhere, which is like where like this sexual debate comes into play and gender debate comes into play. Honestly, I think like I see right through it. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's there, but I don't think it's as big as the media portrays it and as like the government's pushing it.
So how is the government affecting how other people view themselves and their identities?
No, that part is individual. I do think that there's certain places and certain things being pushed to distract us from like the more major things. Like the war in Ukraine and shit that's going on. We don't even hear about it anymore. The fucking shit that's going on in China right now, which again, I don't want to get into that because I don't know enough about it, but there's a ton of shit going on in China. There's like over in Russia, they're like trying to like go back into Ukraine and all that. But, well, they're already in Ukraine, but they're trying to like make amends with Ukraine, like, oh, give us food again, like we're like gonna be buddies, but then they're just gonna like backstab them again. But I think even in like America, like there's shit going on that like they're trying to like sweep under the rug, and their way of doing that is to get us to think about something else. And this something else is like a divide, because like when we have like a common enemy, like we become united, and when we become united, we would unite against something, and it would perhaps be the worst thing, which I believe would be like the government.
So you think the government's using gender identity as a divisive tool?
I think that's one small thing in like a big barrel of things
So
that they use.
what's the other option though?
What do you mean?
They're supporting people to express how they identify themselves and their gender.
Well, I think it's like a huge divide.
Okay, but what do you want the government to do to, or not want them to do, but what would they do that wouldn't be divisive? Like suppress them?
No, not suppress them, but like, I mean, it's so big that like it's going like the whole way to like courthouses, like to where teachers are getting fired, to where like this one high school teacher is wearing breasts like the size of like a small child in a woodshop class. I think you saw that.
Yeah,
I think where, but
that story
that's
is
allowed.
misconstrued as well. Yeah,
That was like on purpose though, right?
Yeah, but like, he's been doing it for a year, like just to be like, I can do this. Like I don't know how the government's pushing it, and I don't know what they could do to not do it. I just think that somebody's behind it, and it's not these people, because like I don't think anybody, I can't say anybody, but I don't think it's as big as a problem as people are making it out to be. I think people are more worried about themselves than others. I really do. So I think like the people that are like, I feel attacked, I think they feel attacked because the media is putting it out there that they are being attacked.
Do you think that people on the other side feel attacked as well because they are being forced to acknowledge other genders?
I think they're being forced to accept it. See, if there was like a difference between acknowledgement and acceptance, there like isn't anymore for some things.
Right.
Like when it comes to certain people like using like the restroom at like a Target, now people are starting to, at least in Pennsylvania, they're starting to get like gender neutral bathrooms, but I think they're trying to make them more like just family restrooms. So there's not really a men's and women's. Like I believe at Starbucks now they don't have a men's and a women's. The last one I went to, they have a men's and a women's, but I believe the one my girlfriend works at is gender neutral. Don't quote me on that though. But like in California, yeah, they're making like transgender bathrooms, which I don't really know what that means.
Well, it would be optimal if they just had single bathrooms.
Yeah,
but
I would agree. Even for cleanliness. Well,
I don't know, because that's kind of it's a gray area where on one side, the government can't say, you can't like oppress those people because that would just be tyrannical.
I think, right, no, 100%. But I think they're trying to appeal to the less than 1% and hurting the rest of the 99.
How is it hurting them? Because of bathrooms?
No, not just bathrooms, but like just
because it's
pushing like these
them...
policies in general.
Okay.
It's like forcing people to accept rather than just acknowledge.
Well, they don't have to accept anything.
They have to accept like a woman going into a man's restroom and the man going into a woman's restroom. That's just like a very small part. But like you have to accept it because now it's policy. And if it's United States government policy or law, then they have to accept it. It's not an acknowledgement anymore.
But that would be saying though that they don't, because they don't believe that that's actually a woman going into the bathroom. They believe it's a man acting as a woman.
Well, last week I saw a dude who was about 6'8" wearing a woman's top with facial hair and lipstick on.
Yeah.
And I can almost guarantee he was going to use the women's restroom as he walked in.
I mean, there's loopholes in everything.
I just like
if that guy does something that breaks the law, like even if he's like creeping out women in the bathroom, like there can be stuff done about that.
Right, but no, 100%. But okay, yeah, I don't really want to get into like where do you stand on this?
Yeah,
because that's just a losing battle, and it just doesn't really.
Well, there
matter.
is no right answer. That's why That's why it's a problem.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
100%.
That's why all politics is it's so pointless to argue about things because
Yeah.
there's a reason there's a problem and there's a reason there's two sides.
I don't hear an argument. I hear debate. Just
Well, we're
talking
not
about-
we're not
No,
arguing.
we're not-
I'm
yeah.
saying in politics that's why there's all these debates and arguments
You
is
know-
because there is no right or wrong.
You know what I'm thinking about
What?
was if there were like just single bathrooms. What if you met the love of your life in a single bathroom? Like you're just like you go to the urinal, you take a piss, and then this girl walks out and you're just washing your hands together. Oh hey, what's up?
I think in Europe they do have, right? They have genderless bathrooms.
I'm just thinking, I'm thinking about like because whenever you brought that up, I was thinking about like what would make that wrong. I'm like, unless it's like a creepy person, but I mean in that case, like no matter single gender bathrooms or like men's, women's, it doesn't matter. They're creepy no matter what. But
Yeah.
like in a
I think also like women for the most part are using the stalls, and men for the most part are using the urinals or stalls.
yeah, but if you're having
So,
if you're
That's what I'm
having
saying. It wouldn't matter.
yeah
If it was genderless.
yeah if you're
Yeah,
if,
that's
if
why
it's genderless, you're saving space too. Because I mean maybe you just make rather than having two bathrooms that are say 1 + 1, you could be just like 1.5 times the size of like a regular bathroom and just because like all that space isn't being used normally. But I mean, maybe depending on like the busyness of the place. But I don't know. I feel like that wouldn't be that weird of a thing. Like I don't know, it wouldn't bother me.
I think so. When I was in college, I was like a junior in college. This was the first time like I saw this happen because I was in the bathroom in the urinal, and then a girl, like I mean it was a girl, like I know it was a girl, walked in, and I was like, at first I was confused. Like I didn't really care though. I was just like shocked because like this was, I want to say before like this stuff really even started. Maybe it started like 2 years before where it really like 2016, 2017, where it really like blew up. This was like 2017, maybe 2018. So it was just like my first experience. But I think, yeah, you'd just get used to it and then it would just become commonplace. I don't really have a problem with it personally. I think most people had a problem with it when like a man was going into a bathroom with like little girls. I think that's where people were having the problem. But like if these little girls, if you're scared of it,
Yeah.
they should be with their parent.
Well, I think a majority is internalized homophobia and refusing to like acknowledge how other people experience life because some people just don't understand how someone like a man could feel like a woman inside, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously you're going to have freaks like that
Right. I mean,
that pretend that they're, you know, a woman and go in just to see, you know, girls, but
I think that's a big issue actually. I think it's a bigger issue than people like want to think is like is what you said, like internalized homophobia. And maybe it's not exactly that, but it's like more where like men don't think that they can be, and maybe we've talked about this before, but men don't think like they can be sensitive. But I'm not saying like you have to be like more gay to be sensitive or anything like that. But I think like men want to be like these like rocks, right? These like like
unchangeable.
right, and like they don't want to think or be sensitive about other people's feelings like that. They don't want to think about that shit. They want things to stay how they are, especially in that regard. But I think like if you think about other people's feelings, like maybe put like a little bit of like empathy in there, I think like you can sort of understand and come to like a common place. And yeah, I mean, I think we just said it, but politics just doesn't have that. I mean, there's no such thing as like empathy in politics, honestly. I mean, it's black and white, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it black and white, but
What's on paper?
yeah, on paper maybe.
No, but yeah, I guess everything starts with like feelings. Like I have a feeling about this, that's why I want to change something. So yeah, that's true. There probably is a lot of, maybe there's too much feeling going into it, but it's not always like the right feelings or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And they say liberals act on empathy and conservatives act on like monetary value or some shit. I think it's most of it is just feeling like human behavior comes into everything at the end of the day. Even if it is like corruption in some way, but yeah, politics is complicated for that exact reason. It's because everyone feels differently. And when you split it up into two sides, it's not even two sides. Like, it's a spectrum.
Yeah, it definitely is. I wonder if there's a way that we could have more of like a common ground. I don't know how it would happen. I don't know if it would be like another war with another country, like something happening where like our country becomes unified. I don't know.
At this point, I don't think that's going to happen. Like, if we were to have a war today,
Mm.
I still think there would be like one side we should just bomb them, and the other side's like we should just retreat. And I think that will just cause more division. So I think for the change you're looking for would come more with the times, and just over generations, people become more united. Because you can see it in Gen Z, where they're swaying more to one side, and they kind of hold the same values that differ from previous generations.
That's true.
I want to say about what you said about like there still being definitive two sides. I think it depends on what the war would be about and stuff. Because, like, say in the past, like the Vietnam War, like there were plenty of people who were not for it, but it wasn't about what they wanted. It was what I'm like, the government wanted. So I think it depends on what we're fighting for. Because if it was something as blatant as like a terrorist attack, I think everyone would be like for, fighting back. But not everyone, of course. I mean, no matter what, there's always
majority.
Right.
Okay, well, let me use this as an example then.
Mm-hmm.
The Ukraine war that's happening right now, Russia just sent a missile over to Ukraine, and it like killed 2 people. And that attack automatically enables NATO as a clause. So everyone involved in NATO that's like friends with Ukraine are obligated to retaliate,
Well,
which would lead to a war, basically.
I thought Ukraine wasn't in NATO. They got rejected the first time. Did they get accepted?
I have no idea.
Well, if that's true, then they got accepted into NATO, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, they would.
I mean, that's what people are talking about right now.
obligated
Yeah.
To do something.
Right. That's what people are talking about right now.
I wonder what that something would be. Like, let's send 5 troops over. There has to be something, right?
I don't know.
Like, fuck, I don't want to go into this war.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what it's kind of like up in the air right now, and nobody knows.
Biden will
Yeah,
probably
it's gonna
pick up the whole
happen.
U.S. and put us
They
in
find
Russia.
loopholes around it. Like, you're obligated. So they're like, all right, dude, you got to take one for the team.
Just
Send one guy.
one lone dude. No, please. Sorry, dude. And they just send him in a spaceship.
There's probably like some fine print that says like a certain amount.
Right.
But no, I think it's funny. Just
There
get some
probably
one guy.
is like 5% of your troops and 10% of your.
Just like one
There's
redneck
armored-
with a shotgun.
There's like a list of people like the worst soldiers that they.
Oh no, the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm next on the fucking list. I hope nobody goes to war.
He has like a fucking crip walk with half a leg missing. A patch on his eye.
He wouldn't accept the honorable discharge. So it's like, all right, man, you got to go. Send you to Ukraine.
But dude, I feel like that would be a divisive a war, because the attack isn't on us, and then we'd be like kind of inserting ourselves in this warfare.
I think
I feel like a lot of America would be like, we shouldn't do this. It's gonna hurt us in the long run. But also, we have an obligation.
right, because if it was happening to us, obviously we would want help from
yeah.
other people. I do think, and I think most people think Russia is the cause of this. And there's actually people in Russia that are like, fuck Putin, let's kill him.
Yeah.
And good for those people. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But that would be
he's
like
on a power trip for sure.
Oh, for sure. It's actually insane. But that would be like us trying to kill like Joe Biden. But we like
That's what I was just thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
they would have to like send like a mercenary or something. But
Yeah.
how the fuck are you gonna get close to the president?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Especially because you have a lot of people that like probably think he's like all righteous God.
Mm.
So
Who do you think was the most like beloved world leader? That is the first thing that comes to your mind. If you can't think of it, you can't think of it.
In all of history,
Yeah, don't. Yeah,
I know exactly.
just in
yeah.
general.
most beloved.
With
Because
there's two.
like someone who like, I assume if you have an answer, you have an answer.
I have two.
I assume it's someone who's feared and respected,
Right. Of course.
but like still loved.
Right.
Julius Caesar. I don't know.
Who are you gonna say?
I was thinking first I was thinking
Oh, yeah, actually.
Alexander the Great,
Okay.
and then I was thinking Genghis Khan, but he was
Genghis-
also
no,
kind of
Definitely
hated.
not Genghis Khan.
No.
Dude, he was a fucking influential motherfucker, and
Didn't
he
he
was scary
commit
as
like
shit.
mass genocide?
I'm not too
Hitler
sure.
was also
I know-
influential.
Yeah, right. Well, I think he
Influential.
killed his own brother too. Him and his brother like challenged him, and then he killed his own brother. But Alexander
pretty
the
cool.
Alexander the
Kublai Khan
Great
was
was
his
said
son.
to be loved and to be a great leader.
Alexander
I'm pretty
the Great
sure
was
he
really cool.
didn't he
His-
conquer like most of the world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for most of Europe.
but he was
right?
also loved, right?
Or Europe and Asia, whatever they are now, but or whatever they were then. I
Then,
mean,
yeah.
yeah. The Roman Empire was huge back in the day, back in the good old days.
Yeah,
you know?
back in my day.
Yeah, he was. I love learning about Alexander the Great just because he was so young.
And wasn't he
He
like
died young,
5'4"
too.
or something? Like this
Well, he
super
died
small
young.
guy.
He died. I think he died
did he?
before. I mean, we're older than he would have been.
Oh yeah, wasn't yeah, he was
like
really young.
I think he was like 14 around the time like of his peak. I want to say
What, dude? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
he was born to be a leader.
When
and he
did
was
he
good at
die?
it,
Like
yeah.
21 or something?
I'm not gonna pretend like I know that, but I,
thought
just know that he was young.
yeah, I think he died pretty young. Dude, that's insane. And I know he was like a super small guy just leading all these fucking
Well-
people. But they're smaller back then.
Yeah,
but still.
right. Yeah, I was gonna
Right,
say
everyone's
yeah.
small.
But he was still wasn't he still small for that time period? I mean,
5'4".
yeah.
I
Or
don't
was
know
he
what
like
the
pretty?
average would have been.
Yeah.
I remember people said like that's how we learned about like Napoleon Bonaparte was because everyone's like, oh, he
Yeah.
was super short, but like,
Right, for
Really?
the time. That's who I was thinking about. For the times, he was like pretty average.
but yeah.
So are we growing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
As a
Why?
human species, yeah. I don't know.
we have more.
Short people,
Hormones?
More
short
no.
people just aren't getting it.
It
Man.
might be a hormonal thing, like that's put in our food.
Is that why I'm getting massive?
No,
Oh.
but no, it's because you go to the gym for 4 hours a day.
yeah,
yeah, right.
yeah. You'll see it in your lifetime. You'll get taller.
Dude, could you imagine? I just like come in the next pod and I'm like 7 foot and I'm like, guys, just human evolution. I don't know what to tell you.
Catch up.
Catch up.
I feel like it's just because we just have more food and stuff. You know,
That's true. Yeah, they also had shorter lifespans too.
Yeah, dude, their lifespans were super short.
I want
Would
to say
that be
like
better or worse?
35 was like average lifespan.
Do you think you'd fit in more living in that
It's
time
like way
span?
back too.
you would what?
Like you wouldn't waste a day. Like right now, we kind of just like, oh fuck, I'm tired, waste a day. Back then, you're like, fuck, I'm gonna die when I'm 20 or 30. I might as well like go out and become
Maybe.
Depends
a
on
ruler of the
what-
world.
What time period are you talking about? Like, put us in what setting?
Fuck, I don't know.
Like a medieval peasant or something?
well,
Because like
because yeah, I would want
wake
to die
up,
if I was a
wake up,
medieval
I'd
peasant.
sow my field.
Yeah, that would.
all
suck.
right.
Living every day to the fullest.
Have my stale bread. Wake up the next day, do it all again.
Damn. Well, what do you think's better, a 9 to 5 or eating loaves of bread and cutting down cornfields?
Oh, 9 to 5.
100%.
I don't know, man. I think
don't
the
fear
depression rates are
famine and
higher.
Those people
And
were living to
disease.
survive. We're living. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like I think depression rates are higher now than they were then. Do you think it's like a
Probably.
scared to die kind of thing rather than like a
They don't have time to be depressed back then.
exactly
Like, just-
exactly we do we have too
like,
much time.
If we were working, like, say we worked like, I don't know, 14 hours a day. Like, I think, probably depression rates would be lower. But also, what the fuck is the point? You know,
Yeah,
like every single day,
Every
like,
single
no
day,
because
yeah.
like they're not working because like somebody's telling them to work. They're working because
they
they're-
have to.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
Like we could be jobless for a year, but we'd have people to support us and stuff. But they didn't.
Like the government.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
They didn't have that shit.
Yeah, you get taxed no matter what.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got to fear like getting bit by a rat, and then you have the
Oh,
bubonic
yeah.
plague, and it's over.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you lose a leg and maybe survive.
Yeah, dude. There's like no health. Well,
Yeah.
And
I
they'll
was gonna
just
say
sell
health
that shit
care.
off.
Obviously,
They-
there's no
they-
health care. Like
They
a
didn't have any-
nurse.
They didn't have any
Like
health
a-
insurance back then.
If you had like a
Yeah.
witch doctor or some shit, dude. Did you guys see that fucking shit about the witches and shit that's going on right now? I believe it's between Texas and Mexico.
No, what are you talking about?
People are like taking children, like human traffickers, taking these children, hiding them in holes, like shoving them in holes and then covering it with dirt. So like I don't know why. Like I don't know if the children can't like dig themselves out or don't know what the fuck they're at. But they're like 3 or 4 years old.
All right.
And then these witches are picking them up to like for like human sacrifices.
Why?
For human sacrifices.
No, not the witch. Why
what-
are the
what-
human traffickers doing it? They get paid
They
for
get
it?
paid. Yeah.
What spells are
What?
they casting?
I have no idea.
Could be
I
anything.
mean, what's the goal?
Doesn't really matter.
Human
but
sacrifice. I don't know. Using like a young kid's blood.
Is it like for their benefit at all? or is it? Just
Yeah,
like,
well, there's a few different things that like I've read about from witchcraft that like would benefit from having like young people's blood and like I don't know. I don't think they're infants because they were like 3 years old. Is that an infant? Yeah, that's like an
Yeah.
infant, right? But
I'd say a 3-year-old is like a toddler, but
did you ever
Yeah.
hear about like the government? This is a theory, but like the government using like kids' blood to like make themselves look younger.
Yeah.
That's like one use, but I don't know if that's what like these
Yeah, I mean,
witches
there's,
are using.
there's no
but
way to
it's-
tell for sure what
Yeah,
they're doing
exactly.
with
Yeah,
them.
I don't know what they're doing,
But that's super fucked up.
it is fucked up.
So what's going on? Is there like there's like an investigation going
Yeah,
on? Like
dude.
FBI?
Dude. They're finding them.
Have to be, right?
Are
Yeah,
they-
all along the border.
the witches are from Mexico or the witches are from Texas?
I don't know. I didn't read enough about it.
You said it was something Texas and Mexico.
I
though?
believe so.
That's weird.
Interesting.
I know it's on a border. I think it's that border. But yeah, dude, they're like fucking digging holes, putting these kids in there. I don't know how they're finding these kids. It'd be like really hard. You're
Kidnapping.
digging.
Well,
No, I don't know how
Oh.
these investigators are finding these kids.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I saw a
right.
video of them finding these
Maybe
kids.
they just know
And,
where
like-
to look, and there's this like a disturbed ground.
Yeah, good point.
yeah.
Do you think
Fucked
Do you
up,
think
man.
those witches know something though? Like they got.
That's what I'm thinking. There has
like
to be
they-
something.
So you
Something that
think
they
it's
saw
something
that
working?
worked.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck was that? And then they became witches. Because you don't just like,
well,
oh, I'm going to be a
would-
witch now and kill
Well, I would
little
assume
kids.
it's kind of like passed down through generations.
Might be. Yeah.
But also,
maybe they had a dream or something, and it was like I saw a phantom, and he said I have to do this.
there could be like a
I
greater
guess-
evil
yeah,
calling
we
them.
won't really know unless
Yeah,
like there's like
again impossible to know. It's just-
unless there's like they were interviewed,
speculation.
but they'd have to be like honest about it.
Yeah,
they could just make shit
definitely.
up.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
and
guess you
then,
just-
and
that's
then
one of those
just
things
no
you have
one's
to
gonna
see.
believe me.
Yeah.
like in
yeah,
any
You're
case,
fucking crazy.
Right.
it's like yeah, Satan called us all
Right.
to this one area, and we use
And then-
kids. I'm like, all right, you're crazy.
Little do we know, Satan actually called them.
Yeah, exactly.
He like just rose up from like a eternal fire and just like, but like from a movie. But then we
Right.
didn't believe it because
Yeah,
like,
of
hey,
course.
okay.
But if you were actually there, you'd be like, I'm all in.
Dude, I always thought about like if something crazy like that happened from like a fucking fantasy movie, how would I
Uh-huh.
explain that? Like how would I make people believe me? Like obviously the first
probably-
people I would tell is the people that I trust the most. So like family or you guys. But like would you believe me if I
I'd
was
probably
like,
stop there. I'd tell you guys, and even if you didn't believe me, or if you did believe me, I would stop there because no
Dude,
one else
I don't
is
know.
going to.
it depends on what it changes because if it was just like, okay, I saw that and that's that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd probably be like, okay, well you don't believe me. But
right.
if it was like
I feel like if you came to me and like all serious and you were like, I saw this 1,000,000%, I'd be like, I believe you.
yeah, I think it's the same.
Yeah, same. Because
I would have
honestly,
no reason to
nothing's out of
doubt
the
you.
question.
Why would I?
Right.
Why would I doubt what you say?
If you're like, dude, like I don't care if you believe me, I just have to like tell somebody about this, and you're like, just told me, I'd be like,
Yeah, why would you lie?
Okay. Yeah,
Unless
like-
you
like, what's the
Unless
goal?
you hit your head or some shit.
yeah, unless like there's something wrong.
Yeah, I feel like I would question it just like
A question,
surface level.
maybe drugs, maybe.
Yeah, right.
I
But
think you would
also,
question
I know
it
you, so
yourself
it's not-
first.
You're not gonna be doing weird shit.
Yeah,
like
and I
that.
think we're all like smart enough to be like, was that, or
Yeah,
did I
we're
see
inquisitive.
something, or was I sleeping, or like you question yourself first, and you're like, dude, I question myself. Nothing fucking happened. Like
Yeah.
this, like I saw this shit. Then
Yeah.
yeah. I will say this. Speaking of alcohol, I've been sober 67 days today, and in the past 67 days, see now, did I have like a problem before? Probably, but did I have a problem within like the last few months? No, I like definitely tamed it down
Right.
to where like I was drinking like 1 or 2 a week, but then I was like, why am I doing this? Like,
1 or 2 what beers?
yeah, like I would go out to like a rrestaurant and drink like a few beers or
Okay,
something.
yeah, that's
and then I'm
normal.
like, yeah, it's pretty normal. But then I'm like, what is this doing for me? Like, I did think like alcohol is hurting me to a certain extent, like because I was in the gym and like I wanted to gain more muscle and shit. So I was like, well, alcohol is not like the best thing for me in that regard. In health and longevity, it's probably not the best thing. Calorie intake, all that shit. So I was like, fuck it. Like, let me just cut it out. I will say, in the last 67 days, I've made like a ton of fucking progress because I've put like energy into different things that like I wasn't doing before. And then like a bunch of like shit happened.
Physical energy or like
I don't
Like
know.
just-
I don't know how to describe it. I think mental energy more than anything.
have you been keeping track of like weight loss or anything?
Well,
Are
I've
you
been trying to gain weight.
Okay.
So weight gain, yeah. And like, I mean, alcohol's gonna make you gain weight. It's not gonna be good weight. I mean, it depends how much you drink, depends how much you exercise and shit. But generally, if you're drinking your calories, you're probably gonna gain weight.
Right.
But yeah, like I'm just saying. I think like it helped me probably improve my sleep and like just like my I don't know what you want to call it, like an aura or some shit. Like I don't know if I became like more like maybe I like my mood changed and like more like talkative to certain people, especially like career wise. Like
Yeah.
I just go up to people and I'm so much more like open minded, but also like it too. I don't even know how to explain it.
Well, yeah, coming off of what you were used to, definitely it would be a huge change. I feel like if either of us were to stop, I don't think it would like be the same. Like it wouldn't be like a drastic difference. But like for you, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can imagine it would be like much healthier just in general. Do you feel like do you like feel it? Like do you feel better?
Yeah, I think like in general, like the first 30 days were super fucking hard. And like I was thinking about it, I'm like, dude, fuck, like Friday, Saturday is coming, especially because like I work 5 days, like Monday through Friday, and then off Saturday, Sunday. Those weekends I was used to like drinking, at least like a few here and there, whatever. So it was hard the first month. Like, what the fuck do I do with this time? And I think that was like one thing because now I had more time to do the other things that I liked, and more like progressive things, more things that would like benefit me in the future. Or I just fucking watch TV instead of drinking. I had my whole next day. That was like the huge plus because I wasn't hungover at all. So I had like the whole next day, and I was like, what the fuck? It was weird the first few weeks because I was like, because I hadn't gone like a week sober in like a long time. So like having that Sunday and not being hungover that Saturday, super fucking weird.
Strange feeling.
Dude, it's so weird.
That's cool.
But
Good for you.
yeah, dude, just like the fucking like improvements. Because I know like I have friends that like drink a lot right now. And I think like if they did that, they would like see that. So I like told them like my experience and now like they're hopping on that train. So hopefully like it reaches somebody. But dude, crazy fucking advancements in the past 60 days.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's wild.
I mean, I've heard a lot, especially from you and our mutual friend. I'll bleep it out. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if we have to bleep that out, but the just like the minor physical things that you include in your day-to-day life can change so much about like how you operate. And I think one of the things he was telling me about, because I asked him about it, was fasting, and because that's what he does, and I think he does the routine where it's only eating 2 meals a day. And I don't know, I didn't question like the calorie intake or anything, but he just does two meals a day and that's it. And like breakfast he skips breakfast. I think it's just lunch and dinner and that's it. And then he just like skips the entirety of like 1 day a week. And like he thinks it makes him more focused. Yeah. I don't know if it's true. I haven't tried it, but I mean, he insists that it makes him more focused. And I mean, like small physical things like that, you don't really take into account because how often does the average human just not eat? You know, so
I think it's becoming like popularized, especially with OMAD. It's 1 meal a day, but he just switched it up and made it like more personalized to him and what fits his lifestyle. I think everybody makes it fit like their own lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's the only way to stay on it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't do what he did because of like the work schedule and stuff.
Right.
But yeah.
I think
also fuck that.
I think it does work. I mean, there's benefits to fasting for sure. In mental clarity.
Do you do it for those mental benefits or for weight loss as well?
I think both, and it clears. I bet it clears out a lot of like your intestine tract during that whole day because I think you're just drinking water. You might be drinking caloric beverages like juice and stuff. I'm not entirely sure.
Right.
I guess it depends. I had a friend actually that did a 21-day fast, but during that 21 days, he was drinking some juice, like 200 calories of juice a day.
Like he didn't
but
eat 21 all?
days. No.
Nothing.
No. He lost like 17 pounds or something. Ridiculous.
He's dead now.
Yeah.
But
no,
21
dude,
days
he's
of just drinking juice.
Yeah.
That's
How
crazy.
old is he now? 44 or 45?
That sounds terrible.
you get to the point where you just like you end up like not even really thinking about it. Because I remember reading about monks, like monks that were in training, they just fast. They fast, and that's how they like achieve like enlightenment, I guess. But it just gets to the point where they just forget about eating. Like they don't even think about it, and because they're forgetting about eating, like they're taking that out of their routine at all. Like they're not taking into account like, oh, I have to go here and I have to go get something to eat like before I do this and stuff like that. They just scratch all of that, so they have so much time to like spend. And monks are thinking about different things than we would be, but they have so much time to spend doing what they want to improve on, you know. So I think it would, yeah, drinking juice for 21 days.
21.
Yeah, I feel like that would give you so much time to just like focus on other things.
Do you think that's like them separating themselves from their instinctual, like animalistic behaviors to focus on the spiritual side of them?
You think eating is like a animalistic thing?
I mean, it's instinctual for sure.
Exactly. I think it's exactly that.
It's also natural, though. I mean, like, we need to eat in some way.
No, we do,
So
but
why
I think
does
that's
that
what
allow
happens.
them to focus on themselves more?
I couldn't tell you.
Because I feel like, I mean, you could get to a point where you just forget about eating, I guess. I wouldn't know. But I feel like if I was 21 days in, all I would be thinking about is eating something.
Yeah, but I mean, I think, so like, a small example is I skip breakfast. I don't eat breakfast at all. And for me, whenever I wake up in the morning, I feel hungry. But then I get to the point where, like, the time where I would normally be eating breakfast passes, I just don't really feel it. Like, then by the time I get to lunch, I'm like, I'm not even that hungry, but like, I know that I have to eat, so I eat.
Mm-hmm.
But like, so I feel like an extended period of time, I mean, it might be worse, it might be easier, it might be harder, I don't know, but I feel like it would like be something. And if I read about it, like helping them focus, then I feel like you would probably forget about it. Like, you right now thinking that, like, oh, I'm gonna have to eat soon, or I'm gonna have to eat later, would probably think, yeah, 21 days sounds like a long fucking time. But
Yeah, but I've went some time without eating to the point where I've gotten hungry and then it passes.
mm-hmm.
But you get hungry again.
Yeah, but I feel like it just passes. I feel like it's a
Passes
continuous
again.
cycle. It's probably just something that you just have to fight, especially after
Yeah.
21 days. That's probably like it's probably like just something you're used to at a certain time.
Yeah.
And after 21 days, you're probably not used to that cycle.
It's
anymore.
probably retraining your body because your brain and your stomach's like, oh, we're not taking in as much food, so stop ringing the bell.
Yeah.
Like the hunger bell.
I mean, you could always develop your body to like evolve into like intaking a certain amount of thing or whatever. Like, something you told me about was that you could eat the same thing every single day. It doesn't matter what it is, but if you continuously eat that same thing, your body's gonna get so used to like ingesting it that it'll break down a lot easier, and it's healthy to a point.
Right. Now, it depends. Actually, it doesn't even necessarily depend on like what it is. Like the difference between like chicken, like cooking, like boiling chicken, and then like cooking chicken in butter. Like, from what they've found, that you could do either one, but as long as it's consistent, it should prove the same results, even though you're adding more calories with the butter.
That's cool. I'm gonna start eating butter, just
Butter chicken.
just butter sticks every single day.
Dude.
Because my body's gonna get used to it, so it's gonna be healthy.
You can train like you were saying, you can train your brain to do other things like your bladder, for instance. When you have to pee, your brain is sending a signal from your bladder, or like your bladder is sending a signal to your brain that you have to pee.
Mm-hmm.
And you can train, like if you just hold it, your bladder has more volume than your brain thinks, because when you feel the need to pee, you go and pee. So that bar will go lower and lower. You can just train yourself to, by like telling yourself you don't have to pee. The feeling will subside a bit. It'll come back, but you can train yourself to raise that bar. So that could probably be applied in
It is.
other
I have
areas.
Experience with that, and I didn't even think about it. But now that you mentioned that, whenever I was in high school, I had shitting problems. Like, it was just a psychological thing, though. I didn't realize it was until I was told. And then like you pretty much just had to tell yourself, like, okay, yeah, you don't have to shit. Like, it's just like you feel like you have to, which you do,
Like IBS.
but like you could hold it. Yeah, similar.
Irritable bowel.
I didn't have that, but I mean, it was something similar, and like, yeah, I just like, it would just hit me all the time, and I think it was like a nervous thing too, but like, yeah, it was just like telling yourself and making yourself not go that took getting over it, and then like, yeah, now it doesn't happen as often.
You know what I've been thinking about this week, though, actually?
Yeah, what's up?
So, I've been seeing on TikTok those fucking stupid TikTok lives. It's proved to me God's real. Now, I don't want to get into any of that, but what I do want to get into is
Big statement. You go ahead.
well, proving anything's real. Prove to me that I'm real. You can't prove to me that I'm real. I can't prove to you that you're real. I can't prove to myself that you're real. First of all, it depends on definition.
Okay.
Yes, there's
Yeah,
like
I guess.
there's like a definition that was made in the Webster's dictionary, the thesaurus doesn't matter. There was a definition that was made, right?
Sure.
For what real is. Well, who determined what real is?
Okay.
Well,
First of all, so
is there an answer for that?
no, there's
Do you
no
think
answer.
that-
So you can't prove that God is real if I can't prove that you're real.
Do you think there's different definitions for the word exist?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
I think it's a personal definition, but I also think like unless you experience something, you're not going to know it's real. So like that's the only reason like I could prove that something is real is through like experience, but then I still can't even prove that it's real because it was my personal experience.
Okay.
I just think it's like a mind fuck because you can't prove that anything's real.
Right. And you're saying that proves God's real?
I'm saying that you can't prove that anything's real.
Sure.
I'm
yeah,
not
you
necessarily
can't-
saying that God's real. I mean, my personal belief, sure, but I'm not saying that you could prove that it's real. I think it's personal experience
Yeah.
I feel like you're.
and belief. I mean, it's a belief.
I feel like you're arguing more for the case of God isn't real. If you're saying you can't prove anything's real.
No, because I personally believe it's real. I personally believe you're real, but I can't prove that you're real, and I can't prove that God's real.
I feel like everyone kind of feels that way.
But I
Like
feel
you
like
can't prove he's real, but you can't prove he's not real.
Right.
well, yeah. I mean, that's
But I think a lot of people, for their case, will prove to me God's real. I don't think they believe God because they think he's fake.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
You think he's
I think
fake?
it's a super. First of all, it's like a super. How do I want to word this? It's just a crazy conversation, but it's also like super hard to think about
yeah.
Mhm.
because
It's a mind fuck.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's a belief.
Yeah, when you put it
how
like
do you prove
that.
something that's a belief?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
That reminds me of the of something that I like to think about a lot, and I feel like I brought it up before. But like, how do I know that the orange I see on that can is the same orange that Caleb sees, or the same orange that you see?
I don't think it is.
You don't think?
I think it's slightly different.
I've thought about that.
Like,
The
what
color
if-
theory.
What
Yeah.
if like all of our favorite colors are the same exact color, but we just don't know it because they're just different? Because they're different.
I
in
mean,
our
I
eyes.
think again, there's like
think
you
that
can't
makes us
prove that,
unique.
but also it comes down to the science of
Can't you though? I feel like
yeah, but eyes are people could, like study eyes
yeah, exactly,
and they all receive light the same way.
right.
Other than
That's why
colorblind people.
that's why I think like it probably is a proven thing that I just don't know about, and I'm just speaking out of my ass.
Sure,
But,
of course it's proven, but we've all thought like, does everyone see color the same?
well, have you ever seen those pictures of like what dogs see versus what we see?
Mm-hmm.
And like
Mm.
it's really cool seeing like it's not even like they're not colorblind. They're like they just see everything's less vibrant in a way.
Yeah, they were. I think that was disproven. It used to say like they could only see black and white or gray and white,
Right.
and then that was like, no, that's wrong. They can see like these 5
It's
colors
just like
or whatever the fuck it
desaturated.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Even colorblind, I think is. I mean, is anyone here colorblind?
I'm not.
No.
Okay.
I've known people.
Yeah, I know people that are colorblind, and like they describe it as like it's just kind of like blends with like somebody I know can't see red,
Yeah.
and he says that it just kind of like it's just kind of brown, so like it's just like desaturated. It's not brown actually brown because he could tell like if he can look at something and say that's brown, but if he sees like he knows it's red because it's like just desaturated,
But it's not the red that we know.
right? And like but he can't see shades of red.
Has he
either,
ever
so-
used the glasses?
I don't know.
I feel like that's important for
Those are
people to
sweet.
like, yeah, to compare how they see the world. Because you can go forever without knowing you're colorblind. Because how would you know? It's like the color thing.
Well, you'd have to be like, oh man, that shade of red's awesome, and somebody's
Yeah,
like,
people-
what the fuck are you talking
Someone
about?
would have
Imagine
to. Yeah,
you're like our age and you're like, man,
Yeah.
I really like that. I really like that orange thing over there, and they're like,
yeah, no, that's different. Like someone could be like, "Do you like the red one or the blue one more?" I'm like, those are the same color.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Mate, you might be colorblind."
we should just gaslight people into thinking they're colorblind.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I feel like people that aren't colorblind know they're not colorblind. You know.
Yeah, I know I'm not colorblind,
Yeah.
but I think you have to like experience that thought to know whether you are or not. Like if somebody first talked to you, like
Right.
if you've never had this conversation or anything about like color really,
Yeah.
and like somebody's like, dude, I fucking love your shade of nails. And you're like, what? And you're like, yeah, like the red on there. And you're like, these are fucking dark brown. And they're like, that's when you could fuck with them.
Yeah.
But like if they've had the conversation, then
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I agree.
yeah.
I'm just thinking about like take this blue can for example. Like
That is a good shade.
yeah.
Dude, these cans fucking vibrant. Anyways.
Yeah. That's how they get you.
Uh,
Just as good as any other energy drink. They just
you would need a
it's
super gullible person with like short-term memory loss. Where it's like, I can't think of a time where I confirmed I'm not colorblind.
yeah, but if they had short-term memory loss, wouldn't they just
Not short-term as we know it. Like,
Yeah,
what's
I
her name again?
yeah, like
What you guys
the
do in my house?
stereotypical yeah.
Whose house is this?
That's fun.
What?
I don't, do you think they would live better lives having short-term like that cartoony type?
No.
Better? No.
No.
No, I mean like what's that movie with Adam Sandler, 50 First Dates? It was like
Yeah.
every single day.
Yeah.
It, like repeated.
Yeah.
Is that how it works in real life too? Like not that like on the nose, but like
Well, I think she
To a
was
certain-
in an accident, right?
Right.
And then from the accident on, or like
yeah,
accident on,
day,
she relived the same day,
exactly.
like the next day, basically.
Are people born with it? Do you know? Or is it
Probably.
like
Probably
because
both.
how does it work if you're born with it? Like, does the time depend on the person, or like the time frame that you don't remember, or
That I don't know.
I mean, I don't think you wouldn't be able to learn anything. Like you wouldn't be able to talk.
Oh,
you wouldn't know. Yeah, you wouldn't know English at all.
are people born with it? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Now that you're saying
it
that,
might
I
be.
feel
They
like-
probably.
I'm sure it's
super
happened,
rare.
but yeah,
It's
exactly.
got to be super rare.
And I don't know what the fuck you'd do. I think you'd just be a blob of human existence, I guess.
Yeah, you wouldn't just. You'd
There'd
be
be nothing
basically a
there.
vegetable. Yeah,
damn?
Yeah, you would
but
be
I
a
don't
vegetable.
think that really happens.
No, I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's probably accident induced or disease.
I think a lot of the time,
induced.
yeah, right. Like dementia, for example.
Right.
I think those people are mostly scared because they're like, wait, I know who this is, but who the fuck are you? That's what I've seen.
That's like the scariest thing to me. Just,
Dementia?
like, forgetting the people that are around you.
Luckily, there's like a lot of treatments now, and they're becoming like very successful. So that's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, forgetting like your fucking loved ones. I think some people though, I don't know if you want to call it lucky, but like when they do develop dementia, obviously unlucky, but they remember like that person like 30 years ago, and they're like, wait, like I remember you. At least you have that. To,
Right.
like to hold on to, but like yeah, that would be fucking scary because
like,
I've known people like wake up and they're like, "Who the fuck are you?" and like call the police.
That's how the Notebook is.
And yeah, I've seen like I know people that's happened to, and they like call like, "There's some strange man in my bed," and it's their husband, and they're like, "What are you talking about, honey?" And they can't calm them down.
yeah.
Do you know what the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's is?
The technical definition, no, I don't think.
I mean,
know.
like the symptoms.
Is this a genuine question? Or
Yeah,
you
I
to,
actually have no
okay.
idea.
Yeah, no, I think
I'm asking.
I want to say Alzheimer's leads to dementia though, but
yeah, I think it is
Oh,
one
maybe
one
it
leads to
might
the
be.
other. Maybe one's
That
like
might be right. Yeah,
a later cause.
because
could
I
definitely look it
know
up.
I
my
remember
great grandmother had one of the two, or I guess she had something that where she had very like terrible memory, didn't know where she was all the time, and like she would have a baby doll and she thought it was real. So that's got to be a different symptom from
Yeah.
memory, you know?
for sure.
So while this is from the Mayo Clinic, while dementia is a general term, Alzheimer's disease is a specific brain disease.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
It's marked by symptoms of dementia that gradually get worse over time. And the Alzheimer's disease first affects the part of the brain associated with learning.
So what's the learning? What's
yeah,
the
so early symptoms, include changes in memory, thinking, and reasoning skills.
Okay, that makes sense.
So memory, thinking, and reasoning skills, yeah.
And that they just all degenerate
Yeah.
over time.
Right. So it slowly gets worse. It's known, like that's known, but
Right.
man, yeah, that would fucking suck, dude. Going from like this is my life to what the fuck's going on? Like like I don't like I'm sure it's gradual, but you wouldn't know, right? Like you personally wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's what I think is scary about it.
You
I
see-
think it'd be more scary on the other side, but I haven't experienced it. But just like seeing somebody that like doesn't recognize you, that would be like a punch in the fucking face. I don't know.
I think it'd be
Yeah.
more sad than scary for me
Yeah,
if
well,
it happened to somebody
That's
that
what
I
I mean.
knew, but more scary for them, yeah.
There's this article I remember seeing that this guy had Alzheimer's, and he forgot that he had Alzheimer's, and he was fine. It might have been a fucking joke.
Dude,
but
that's definitely a fucking joke.
Dude,
Imagine if that's how it
it
works.
was so believable the way it was. I was one of
The way
those
it was
things where
written.
I looked at it, I was like, and scrolled right past. So I like
That had to be. You know what
just,
the Onion is?
Yes.
It wasn't the Young. No,
Okay.
I know those.
It had
I
to
know
be something
those,
like
I know
that,
those
though.
sites. Yeah, no, it wasn't one of them.
That definitely sounds like them.
But yeah, I'm not saying I believe
You tell your fucking grandma with Alzheimer's, you don't have Alzheimer's. Wait. I think you're right. I forgot. You forget. You do like the fucking clock mesmerizing thing. Do you think like hypnosis works on those people?
Do you
Probably.
think hypnosis works? Have you been hypnotized?
I think it
I think
has.
it's stigmatized.
I think it works.
I don't
Have
think
you?
people think
Have
of
I been hypnotized?
hypnosis
Yeah.
correctly.
I feel like it has to be someone that's easily manipulated.
Well, there's like multiple forms.
Yeah.
There's like meditations that are
light
now called
trances.
hypnosis.
Yeah.
But like, are you talking about like hypnosis where like somebody can control you?
Oh, well,
Maybe.
that's super
Highly
far fetched. But I
suggestive.
do know what you're talking about with like the helping like certain problems, like hypnosis to
Right.
treat like a physical
Like smoking.
maybe like like an itch or something. Like a
Yeah,
tick.
dude. My grandma did it for chips or candy or something, and it seemed to work.
Really?
Yeah, for like I think it was a few months.
What
I don't
was-
know what like stops that though.
What was
Like,
the process?
she just went to the guy, saw him, and I believe like what they did. I don't know. I don't think they did like the whole watch thing. But what I know about the brain is that like if you use like bilateral movements, like your eyes moving back and forth or up and down or something. I think it's left and right brain, so it needs to be I think it's something needs to be left and right or clicking left and right in the ears,
Makes sense.
like the sounds. And then like you can slowly induce somebody into thinking a different way.
There's so much we don't know about ourselves that like
Yeah.
we could probably control that we just don't know yet. Oh, that's
Dude,
fucking
the
crazy.
brain's crazy.
For hypnosis,
crazy.
you have to be a certain person to be put in a trance.
I think you have to be willing. I think that's what they say at the
Maybe
very
willing,
beginning.
yeah.
I just
Willing
imagine. I imagine
and
like,
accepting.
Yeah.
if I didn't know any better, which I don't, if I were to go into like a hypnosis thing, I would imagine that they would like, I don't know, put like a blindfold over me and then like play some like static sound and then like tell me things, then like ask me questions that I just don't understand the correlation, and then like they'd take it all off and then be like, all right,
Yeah.
We're done.
It's kind of a weird thing that we even have to speculate if it's real or not. Because if it is real, I feel like it'd be very well known that it's real.
don't people do the
You
same
know?
thing with like
Well-
chiropractors and stuff?
What do you mean?
Like people like question if they're real doctors.
Oh, if it's
Yeah.
just like pseudoscience.
I've been to a I've been to a
think
chiropractor and they've
chiropractor-
realigned my hips.
Dude,
so I know for a fact.
they
that's what I
definitely
don't
like
get.
X-ray. It
No,
is true.
I've thrown my neck out in like a snowboarding accident. Like could not move my neck, couldn't look up, couldn't look down, nothing. And I went to the chiropractor and she like popped my neck and I walked out of there fine.
that's
Realign your bones.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
think about it. Like it does work.
Yeah, of course.
If your bone's like this and they fix it,
I was wondering if you guys knew the other, like the opposing side, because I just don't understand. Like
I
I've
don't
seen so
understand
many videos
It's just
of
that, yeah.
people like getting their lives changed.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Like somebody who was a construction worker for decades, and he just had like shitty alignment. Like he just like walked around like all hunched all the time, and they just like he did this weird thing with his neck, I think, and just like pulled it out, and you could see like it extend and shit. And then he's like, oh my god, and he like stands up and starts walking around. He's like, oh my, he like starts crying because
Yeah.
like that's insane. And then people are like,
He's acting.
nah.
no, it doesn't work. Yeah, dude.
He's
no, it
he's
definitely
acting.
works.
Yeah, he's fucking extending his neck.
From personal experience and you as well. It
Yeah,
definitely worked. Have
for
you ever
sure.
been?
No.
It's nice.
100%.
Even
I mean,
like
I don't have a
if
reason
you've, like,
to, but
Even if you get like an adjustment,
yeah,
like feels good.
like
Yeah.
aligned and stuff.
Yeah.
what about like massages? Do you feel better at I mean, that's not a question as to whether or not those work. It just feel good, but
Yeah.
I've never gotten a massage and always wanted to.
I've got one.
Does it feel
feels
good
good.
after?
Yeah. After?
That's
yeah,
what
you
that's
feel
what I'm wondering.
relaxed.
Yeah, I want to know after. I don't care about the like. Yeah, during it. Yeah, obviously it feels good.
Yeah.
but-
After, yeah, you feel relaxed because they kind of, put the like scented candles on and they like play like real just light music, and then afterwards, yeah, you feel good.
You're talking about like a full body massage.
Yeah.
Chiropractors do deep tissue massage. That like you feel like a lot afterward. Like when I was like really like benching heavy and shit, I got deep tissue massage in my pecs because I didn't like so your like muscles can get tight and that'll contract your tendons and shit. And I was scared to tear another tendon because I tore my pec tendons 4 times. So I went to him for deep tissue, and dude, I was like looser than a gooser. It was insane. No, but honestly, like it really fucking.
They
worked,
really
that
get
deep
in there
tissue
though,
shit.
right?
Yeah, dude, he was a bodybuilder. He had fucking thick ass hands, but man, he was fucking strong. Just fucking pounded my chest.
Would you have trusted him if he was just like this scrawny dude?
If he could do what that dude did, yeah, I don't care what you look like. It depends how
Yeah.
well you do it. So if you put his whole body into it,
Definitely.
sure.
Yeah, it's just
This guy wasn't a
nowhere
big
to push.
dude. Like he was a big dude, but like shorter guy, just like massive hands, and it didn't
Yeah.
matter. I have to fucking talk about it. Is the fucking hypnosis? When we were in high school, they hired a hypnosis person for fucking prom, and they did it to like 15 people in front of us. Now that type of hypnosis, I didn't really believe in until I fucking saw it. And they had like people like dancing like fucking idiots and singing and shit, like dance like Britney Spears and shit, and like sing. These people that were like, I saw all of high school that were like super closed off and like insecure and fucking
Right.
I don't know, like nerdy, like nobody talked to them. They were fucking like belting like in front of everybody. I was like, no fucking way.
See, that's why I don't think.
It has to be fucking real to an
Yeah,
extent.
I don't. But I don't think you have to be like willing, or anything. I think you just have to be
Highly suggestive.
highly suggestive, and easily manipulated.
I think
Not easily, but like the people that do hypnosis, they're mentalists, so they know exactly how to do it.
yeah.
Super interesting. I wish I kind of want to try it.
Like learn about it.
No, not like do
Being
it, but like
hypnotized?
yeah, I want someone to try and hypnotize me. I
Do
mean,
you have any
open to
like
it.
ticks that you have that you need to bad habits or anything? We could try it. I mean,
not that I know
we're
of, but
professionals.
Well, you know what is actually like I would have to say it's completely real because the US Army does it is EMDR, eye movement desensitization regulation. And basically like what it is what I told you about, like it's a form of hypnosis where it uses bilateral movements, either clicking in the ears or moving left and right like I said. But they use it in the US Army to bring you down from like a stress level. So what they do like every night after like they come back from combat, they sit down and do it. I don't know if they do it with each other because you should have like a licensed person there to do it because it can be used to manipulate people. But it has a 97 or 96% success rate, but it brings them down from like a 10 to like a 6. And you could bring them down to a 0, but in those stressful situations, you really don't want to bring them down to a 0 because they're in a stressful situation. You don't want them to be completely calm with
Super cool,
gunfire
yeah.
around. Yeah. And I've done it
chill.
personally, and it can heal like traumas and shit. Like it's amazing how it works. But it uses like your brain movement, and it like, you know, when you sleep, your brain basically like compartmentalizes different thoughts that you had throughout the day. Sometimes when traumatic events happen, certain memories get stuck, and that's something that can unstick those memories so that your brain can free flow again.
what was that called again?
EMDR for short.
EMDR.
But yeah, just look up EMDR. It'll show you like
Yeah,
everything you need.
I think you've told me about it before.
Dude, it's sweet.
It's super interesting as well.